real good, cause that's the way I learned in my crazy ass way. Growing up in the streets of Vance being down low, where a youngster couldn't even hang around and play. Drive-bys, drug deals, basins everywhere. Crack babies being born.
The weekend, so I'm gonna show you guys how wild my dog is. Somehow his pools keep popping. We don't understand. But we have to buy him a pool, like, I don't know, maybe it's his nails. So if anybody knows of like some little stronger pools for him to be able to play on, because he really loves the pool. But anyways, time to play on this thing. You know, we got it kind of in there. Got my level. And I'm gonna try to make sure everything's kind of okay. It's not as tilted as I think stock, maybe. I'm not fully sure, but I don't think it has the same angle as some of the other stock kits. But I believe since it's dry sump, I don't think the angle matters that much any longer. So I'm just trying to make sure at least it's level and flat, like side to side. Alright, so now we got cardboard at the bottom. And I believe our numbers are matching. 5, which is better. We were at like 4 point earlier. And 1.5. We were like 1.4, but that's just a tiny bit. So now we can continue to try to figure out how to do these mounts, and it continues to change on me and ideas of how to make it, because the way that I can see right now, I can get a tube that goes straight and just at this degree, and if I weld it onto this bar, I'm good to go. And that would be a relatively really strong mount on this part. And that's if I flip it over. Earlier I was trying to use it like this and having this top out, and I just flipped it over to see what it looked like. And as you can tell, I believe I could just do the same freaking thing right here. A tube coming straight forward with an angle, weld it onto this, and then that's it, honestly, guys. But having maybe just a plate welded onto this that hits this helps a good bit, because then I'll be able to position this better and maybe move the engine around more if I need to. But technically, if I have the engine relatively exactly where I want it to be, like right now, and I think I do. One thing we can do real quick is put the valve cover on and close the hood and see if I raised the engine much, and now I can close the hood. But everything else seems like I clear steering rack and everything else. So this is looking like a good thing right now, guys. Hopefully the engine's not too much forward to the right. I'm gonna try to see how I can measure that right now. All right, so now we attempted to flatten it out towards that end. What I mean by flatten it out, I didn't flatten it out. And try to make sure it was centered, because I just looked at the transmission. It was kind of hard to see with the car being so low and me not having a trans. I really need to find a trans so I can continue to do this better. More than likely, I feel like I'm gonna have to revise my engine mounts when I do that. Now I'm gonna try to continue to measure this out, which which is impossible by myself, but I'll figure it out. Looks like I'm not gonna figure it out. Wait. Alright, so we got our numbers as close as possible. It's raised up now. It's 13 3/4 because this is 27.5. So I'm trying to just have the bolt centralized, so technically the engine is in the middle. And yeah, got the motor mounts kind of bolted in so that we can continue on to try to figure out our angles and what we're gonna do. See, that kind of fits almost nice. Right here, I'm trying to figure out the angle with this. So the next step, so I'm just gonna grab my little notebook, make a little angle, and I could use my angle finder too to do something like that, and know that that's like a, it looks, that's 42-ish degree angle. And that is at yeah, the 4.8, 4.9. So technically I gotta do a 42 degree angle on both of them because that's what it ends up being. The motor runs stock. And then I gotta go, and one of them has to be 42 and then 5 degrees this way, or yeah, like that. And then I have to match this one 5 degrees this way and then 42. So maybe I might make like something mocked up with, I was trying to find another piece of circle or tubing just so I can have the angle and see if maybe they fit on both sides, and then I just have one. Because technically I feel like that's all I'm gonna need. It looks like they're pretty much the same size. So yeah, and then after that I'll just be going back to my shop, going to cut that out, and then coming back here and trying to weld it here, which kind of sucks. I wish I had the car there, but that's what I'd have to do. And if I get that done today and come back and weld that all tonight, it'll be sick to be able to have this engine at least mocked up motor mount. You know, if I have to make some revisions or whatever, that would be easy, but at least I'll have a general idea. As you can see, my cardboard template fits right in. So technically I'm gonna try to go cut a piece of, oh wait, it needs a little more adjustment. I'm gonna try to go cut a piece of tube like this that I can come back, and if I just have to, you know, just sand down a little bit, that's fine. See, that one looks like it'll work too pretty much, but it needs to be a little longer and less of an angle. So I'm just gonna make a piece of little templates for both sides so I can kind of try to make a tube out of them and come back and tack the tubes on and stuff and try to get it done. Technically I should be able to tilt this a little bit more because of my transmission, I think, but I am gonna weld these up things for now. I might just do really big tacks and see if it'll hold the engine in there by itself for a while, and then maybe change them up later on. But it's like as best as I'm gonna be able to get it, at least for now. Yeah, I'm gonna try to weld this up here in a second, guys. So here we go. Well, that was probably the hardest, one of the hardest things in this whole process. I was trying to tack this thing in there with my TIG and everything in. That was a lot harder than I was expecting it to, but we got it tacked up. I did a couple welds around the bases so maybe they don't move. Let's double check this thing. Gooch, it hasn't moved too much. So yeah, now I'm gonna yank it out again, pop off the mounts, weld the mounts fully, and then I guess put them back on and put them on the car again, which, here we go. Another important thing to do was take everything off and make sure we had enough hood clearance. As you can see, the hood goes down. It should be about right there. So technically, we have enough hood clearance. Going up. Yeah, buddy. So now I can yank it out again. Well, got some weldies going on. This is ridiculously hot, so I kind of just gotta let it cool down and then throw them on the block and back on the engine to see. I mean, back on, yeah, on the engine, on the block, sorry, back on the block, and K the engine, and then back in the engine bay to see if it ends up lining up where I originally set it. So, wish me luck. Oh my god, CH-YO was in the way, dude. Well, this means the hood closes. And this thing's in here now. Motor mounts seem like they're working. I'm still gonna have to clearance a couple things a little bit more, like it's hard for me to show you, but the nut down here, I had to clearance the hole, and it's perfectly in there right now. But if I make more room for that, be able to actually use that correctly. On this side, everything seems good. The pan kind of like barely clears everything, but the modification I made seems like it worked. It also seems to be in a pretty good position. I already measured. I'll do the measuring tape. I measured the crank from here to here on both sides, or at least the pulley, and it matches. So I'm gonna say it's kind of balanced. From there to there, it's like 13. I can't remember now. It's like a quarter 14. So it's at the center as I can make it. Surprisingly, the flywheel belt, the bell housing clears very well after I hit it a little bit more. But everything seems like it has a lot of room. The hood closes, so that's one of the big deals. I really need a transmission so I can put it in and see where the shifter stays and lands and how it works. Other than that, I feel like that's the only thing that I might have to change up, is if the transmission sits too differently, because I believe maybe this adapter plate makes the engine sit like more straight. But the plan is to, you know, borrow a transmission or buy a transmission as soon as possible so I can do that. But at least for now, the engine's fully in there. Next thing to do is I got to finish those that old pan modification. But overall, it's been a good weekend. My little but really big brother's here. My mom's here too, so we're gonna go get dinner after I got all this welded up and done. So that's gonna be it, guys. It was my goal was to finish my motor mounts, or at least have the engine fully mounted to a car. So that's done. Still have a lot of other things I gotta do, but one step at a time.